Tarnished Legacy, Historical Paranormal Romance, Soul Dance, Volume 2. Also includes Tarnished Beginnings, prequel to the Soul Dance series. Written by Gimpel. Narrated by Gregory Salinas. Tarnished Beginnings, a prequel. Chapter 1. Egypt, 1740.
Tairin, get moving! The water buckets are still empty, her mother shouted.
Long black hair hung in two braids behind her shoulders, and her dark eyes snapped dangerously. She stood over Tairin with her hands on her hips, staring down at her. Dressed in long, colorful skirts and a red patchwork tunic, she dug her bare feet into loose sand. Beads and bracelets clanked against each other when she moved, and rings circled all her fingers and several of her toes.
Yes, Mother. Sorry, Mother.
Tairin rose from where she crouched on the shady side of one of the wagons in their gypsy caravan. Midday sun beat down on her, making her dizzy and nauseated. She hadn't felt right for days. A wolf, the same one that had haunted her dreams for years, was making its presence known with greater and greater frequency. Every time she closed her eyes, the creature was there, and she wondered if she was losing her mind. The thing was actually talking with her, urging, pushing, exhorting, appealing, shouting. She'd always seen the animal as a special imaginary friend who visited her in the dream world, but it wasn't content to remain in the shadows any longer. It was angry, fury evident in its snarls and raised hackles, and Tairin was frightened. She'd tried to talk with her mother, but Anexi curved two fingers in the Romani sigil against evil and told her to throw herself on the goddess's mercy. Confused and wondering what any of the goddesses had to do with her problem, Tairin had asked which one to petition, but her mother shook her head. You cannot talk about such things even with me. They are forbidden. For the sake of all that's sacred, do not mention these visions to anyone else. They'll think you mad. Tairin pushed the unsettling exchange with her mother aside. It had happened a few days ago, but it still haunted her. Snatching up two buckets fashioned from goat hide, she trudged toward the Nile River. It ran fast and muddy not far from their encampment. Their caravan had just left Cairo, where they'd done well telling fortunes and entertaining wealthy patrons with dancing girls and tarot spreads. Tomorrow, or the next day, they'd head for Giza. They plied the settlements up and down the Nile, along with several other caravans. The elders set a schedule so not more than one group was in any given city at a time. Her head spun and she shook it to clear black spots swimming in front of her eyes. What was wrong with her? She'd always been healthy, but she'd just turned 13. On the heels of her birthday had come blood and cramping pain in her lower abdomen. An uncomfortable bundle of rags bunched between her legs made it impossible to ignore her body's betrayal. She wasn't bleeding as much as she'd been a couple of days earlier, but this would happen every month, forever. Would she always feel this bad? Tairin hoped not. Her body was changing, and she'd have to get used to the new awkwardness of breasts and blood. It wasn't as if she could alter anything. Kneeling, she dipped her buckets in the brown, murky waters of the Nile. Their weight made her stagger as she headed back to drop them off and get 2 more. 10 buckets twice a day provided enough water for her mother's wagon. Tairin longed for brothers and sisters to share the chores, but no such luck. Her grandparents were too feeble to do anything requiring much effort, and her father wasn't always around. Even if he were, men didn't dirty their hands with menial tasks like carting water. Not for the first time she wished she'd been born a male. No blood, no breasts, no hucking water. She'd enjoy sitting in circles with the other men, drinking, smoking, and cracking jokes. And she liked taking care of the horses and goats, chores traditionally done by men. May as well demand the moon on a platter. Partway back, raised voices drew her to a halt. Her mother and father were arguing. They'd done more and more of that of late, but they always shut up fast when she drew close. Maybe this time she'd actually hear something. Tairin dropped to her belly in tall marsh grass that grew thickly in the Nile's delta and shrouded herself in magic. She might earn a session with the whip for not delivering the water faster, but she wanted to hear what was wrong. Her father had left for a long time the previous month. He'd been gone so long she'd been afraid she'd never see him again.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?